Yun? Both of them turned around to look at the familiar voice. Yes? Can we talk for a moment? Yun looked at Jimin and he gave her a nod, reassuring her that there is no need to worry about it. Yun took a deep breath and turned back to face Jungkook. What did Yun was about to ask him, but Jimin interrupted them. Professor, everyone is looking here. Why don't you take her somewhere else so you can talk more peacefully? Jimin suggested, and Yoon glared at Jimin. She is already feeling nervous. Jungkook thought about it for a moment and then nodded. Sure, that's a good idea. Thanks, Jimin. Jimin passed a small smile. So let's go. I will drop you at your home. Yoon nodded and three of them made their way out of the university. Jungkook led the way to his car and opened the door for Yoon. She hesitated for a moment before getting in. As they drove away from the university, the atmosphere in the car was tense and awkward. Yoon fidgeted in her seat, not knowing what to say, while Jungkook kept his eyes on the road ahead of them. After a few minutes of silence, Jungkook finally spoke. I'm sorry for the sudden proposal yesterday. I don't know anything about it. It's okay, Professor, I understand. I just want you to know that I didn't plan for this to happen. It's just that my father has been pressuring me to get married. I see, so what happened now? Jungkook paused for a moment before answering. I don't want to force you into anything. My father wants me to get married as soon as possible because in his eyes, I'm getting worried. I just wanted to talk to you about it and see what you think. Jungkook said hesitantly, wanting to know her opinion. Yoon nervously fiddled with her fingers, looking at her lap. Well, I don't know what to say. I don't know if I'm ready to marry yet. And beside, you're my professor. I know, that's why I wanted to talk to you. I don't want to make things uncomfortable between us. Not outside, not in university. If you're not ready, you have a choice. Say no. Are you ready to marry me? Jungkook was taken aback by her question and glanced at her. But she was already staring at him. He cleared his throat. Honestly, I don't know. It's all so sudden. I had not much thought about it. I want to make sure that whatever we do is the right decision for both of us. You look at him surprised, not expecting him to be this understanding. Thank you, Professor. I will think about it. Jungkook nodded, turning his attention back to the road. The rest of the drive was quiet, but the tension between them had eased slightly. Tell me all the details. What did he say? Did he propose you? Did he confess that he loved you? Did he? Yun hit him with her book on his head. Jimin had been bugging her all morning and never missed a chance to annoy her. Park, Jimin, stop running your little brain. Nothing happened like you're thinking. Damn, really? It's been all my efforts waste to send you with him? Sorry to disappoint you. But yes, we just talk. Just talk. Are you sure there is nothing else going on? Jungkook grinned and Yoon rolled her eyes. Professor June, Jimin wants to talk to you. Yoon said, looking behind Jimin, and his eyes widened and turned around. No, I don't. But there was no one. He heard Yoon giggle as she ran away from there. He ran behind her. Mr. Kim was sitting at the dining table. Yoon was silently eating when he cleared his throat and started speaking. Yoon, my dear, what do you think about the proposal? Yoon looked up from her plate, surprised by the sudden question from her dad. Dad, I don't know. It's all happening so fast. I have so many things to do. I don't know if getting married right now is the right option. I know, Yoon. I understand that you have your own dream, and I don't want you to give up on them. But your mother and I, we think that marrying Jungkook will be the best thing for you. He's a good man. He will take care of you. You can fulfill your dreams even after marriage. Besides, I know him since he was this small. Yoon chuckled at her father's hand gesture. I know you will decide the best for me, Dad. Mr. Kim smiled and they continued their dinner. So you said yes to the marriage? Yes, I did. Jimin stared at her for a moment, sensing her hesitation. Even though he annoys her every time, he knows this is the biggest decision of her life. Are you sure you are ready? A little scared, to be honest. Do you think Professor June is good for me? I think he will be good for you as long as I notice his behavior. In the past week, he don't seem strict out of the university. I guess I'm just nervous about the whole thing. Don't worry, now buy me a zinger burger. I gave you such good advices. You will not get a cousin like me. Sure, Yoon chuckled, feeling little at ease. Don't you think you are rushing things? It's been a few weeks you said about the proposal and now marriage. Jungkook said to his dad, it's been few weeks and things are still the same. We don't know where the suddenly marriage come from. I know, son, but you have to trust me on this. Yoon is a wonderful girl and I believe she is the best match for you. We have known her and her family for a long time, and they have always been good people. But she still has a lot to see in her life. What if she thinks we are forcing her into this? I mean, she's still young. Don't you think we should wait until her graduation? What if they arrange her marriage with someone else? His mom said immediately she liked Yoon ever since they were kids and wanted to see her as a daughter-in-law, and now they think it's the right time. Jungkook looked at her mother weirdly. Isn't it good that she will get married to who she loves and not someone who is basically older than her? Me and your father also got arranged marriage, and now look at us, she said as she walked to her husband and placed her head on his shoulder, blinking her eyes to convince his son. You two never get serious, do you? Jungkook said, looking at his parents with a done face. He's used to their behavior. He is the only serious person in this house. No one can say that Jungkook is their son because their parents are totally opposite of him. Yoon, will you hurry up? Jungkook is waiting for you. Just a minute, she yelled, wearing her shoes and turned outside of her room. I'm going by. Ash, this girl. Yoon hurriedly made her way to the door and stepped outside. Jungkook was waiting for her, leaning against his car with his arm crossed. Sorry I took so long, Yoon said as she approached him. It's alright, no worries. They both sat inside the car and drove to the mall. They both were walking together in the mall, feeling a bit awkward around each other. Yoon was looking around at the stores and people passing by. She was looking unsure which dress to buy, while Jungkook couldn't help but take glances at her from time to time. Want to go to that shop? Yoon looked at him and then nodded lightly. As she entered the shop, she tripped and stumbled back. Jungkook was about to hold her instinctively, but she stood straight, her face red with embarrassment. Are you okay? Yoon nodded and walked away from him. Jungkook's lips curled up in a smile. Cute, he murmured under his breath and walked behind her. Yoon was trying on dress one after one, but she didn't like any of them. Of course, it was her first marriage and she wanted to look beautiful. Jungkook was sitting there awkwardly, just watching her as she changed into each dress. For the first time, he really looked at her properly. During their time together at university, he had never paid much attention to her appearance, but now he started to notice her feature. Professor, can you help me? He heard the smile voice and he snapped his head in her direction. Jungkook hesitantly stood up from the sofa and walked towards her changing room, where she was peeking her head out. What do you need help with? Despite him being nervous inside, he tried to look unbothered. I couldn't reach my zipper. Jungkook was taken aback. She was looking down, clutching her dress so it won't fall, her face bright red. Who can say the confident girl who don't hesitate to speak up in front of class was now stuttering and nervous in front of him? Jungkook gulped. He still didn't step inside, trying his best to avoid looking at her in the mirror as she turned around. His hand shook a little as he pulled the zipper up. Yoon's heart was beating faster. She can feel his breath on her neck. Oh God, she wanted to dig a hole right now and never came out of it. Jungkook had brushed against her bare skin as he reached up to the top of the zipper, and Yoon shivered at his touch. Thank you, Professor. No problem, he stuttered, mentally scolding himself and scratches his neck in embarrassment. They looked so cute together. They both heard murmurs. Yoon looked behind and her eyes widened when she saw her classmate entering in the same shop. Jungkook was about to turn around, aware of the fact. Suddenly, Yoon grabbed him by his collar and pulled him inside the changing room before locking it. Jungkook stumbled in surprise. They both ended up pressing against each other. Try this one, sister. She heard one of them speaking out of their changing room, and then someone tried to open their changing room door. Her eyes widened. Jungkook was still unaware of what is going on. He was just staring at her, but the room was locked. Ash, this one is closed. You can use other one, sister. Yoon finally let out a breath she was holding. Almost forget about that they are still pressed together. Yoon finally looked in front of her and her eyes widened. She quickly left his collar and tried to step back, but the small space in the changing room made it impossible for her to create some distance between them. I'm sorry, I just panicked. It's okay, we should just wait here until they leave. Yoon nodded, still feeling embarrassed about the situation. They both leaned against the wall, trying to avoid any physical contact with each other. After a few minutes, they heard the group leaving the changing room area and Yoon finally unlocked the door. I think they left. Yes, let's go. Yoon selected the dress quickly. Jungkook paid for the dress and they both walked out of the mall. still feeling a little awkward. At the end of the day, they finally reach home. That was so embarrassing. She squealed as Jimin was asked about every detail and Yoon ended up telling him whatever happened in the damn shop. Jungkook was downstairs. Mrs. Kim wanted him to at least have tea with them, so he decided to stay. And you don't know where Jimin come from in your house, but he kept asking for everything. That was cringe and funny at the same time, he said between his laughter. He was rolling down on the floor. That's why I was not telling you. You will make fun of me. I can't help it, Yun. I just wanted to see Jungkook's reaction. Have some shame. He is older than you, and you are calling him by his name. So don't you call him Jungkook too? He said as he took a bite of the cake he was eating. No, and keep your voice low. Professor is still downstairs. No way you still call him Professor. He asked, shocked, and Yun rolled her eyes at the dramatic reaction. Sound weird calling him by his name? I never call him by his name. Jungkook started laughing all of a sudden. You look at him confused. Why are you laughing now? Yun tossed the whole cake in his mouth. Her eyes widened, but he was still rolling down on the floor like a kid. God damn, Jimin, get out of my house. Yun yelled, feeling embarrassed and annoyed by his teasing. Gosh, I was joking. He tried to control his laugh and stood straight, but Yun was already out of the room, speeding downstairs. Mom, get this chipmunk out of my house. Jimin burst into laughter again as he chased Yun downstairs. She rushed down the stairs but didn't notice Jungkook panicking and walking towards her at why she is yelling, and they both end up colliding, falling down on the floor. Everyone in the room froze, staring in shock at the unexpected scene. I'm sorry, I was not watching where I was going. Jungkook stuttered, trying to apologize. Yun's face turned even redder as she scrambled to get up. She felt humiliated, and the fact that Jungkook was there to add to her embarrassment. Kids, come here and eat some snacks, Mrs. Kim said, lightening the mood, and Jungkook saw as Yun took longer step towards her mother, still not looking at him. His eyes fell on Jimin, who was controlling his laughter. Jungkook sighed and walked to the sofa. Isn't it his parents were enough that now he's stuck again with non-serious people? Jimin calmed and sat down and joined the others. Hi, Yun said as she sat down on the bench with a wide smile. Oh hi, you back? I thought you forget about me, she said, looking down, and Yun's eyes softened. She's such a shy girl. No, how can I forget you? Actually, I was busy with my family function. I don't have time. So, will you tutor me again? Of course I will, Ria. Can I ask you a question? Yes. Yun noticed her hesitation and moved closer to Ria. You were almost my competitive. You were so good at studies. Then what happened? Why do you need a tutor? No use even if I study hard, she whispered, looking down, and Yun held her hand softly. Is there something? You can tell me. It's been almost a month since I'm tutoring you. You can trust me, Ria. Can we please not talk about it? Yun could sense that something was troubling Ria, but she didn't want to push her. She gave Ria's hand a gentle squeeze and smiled warmly at her. Okay, we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but just remember I am here for you. If you ever want to talk about anything. Ria smiled, and her sweet gummy teeth almost melted her heart. She looks such a baby. Let's get started on our tutoring session then, Yun said, pulling out her notebook, and then both started working. Yun sat on the couch, her arms crossed tightly over her chest. She was sulking, and Jimin could tell that something was bothering her. What's up with you now? Did someone steal your ice cream? Go away, it's not the time to disturb me, she said, annoyed, and Jimin sighed. What happened to you? Tell me already. You might think it as a childish and will make fun of me. No, I won't, I swear. You know my wedding is soon, and I don't want to leave my parents. It's so soon. Jimin could sense the fear and worry in Yun's voice. He put his arm around her, pulled her closer. You don't have to worry about anything, Yun, Jimin said reassuringly. Jungkook is a good man and he will take care of you. Plus, you will still see your parents all the time. Yun looked at Jimin, tears welling up in her eyes. But what if I'm not ready for this? She said. I'm still in university. I have so many things to do. What if I messed up? You won't mess anything. You are strong and capable. You can achieve anything you get your mind to, and I will always be here for you, no matter what. Yun buried her face in Jimin's chest, letting out a sob. Jimin held her, stroking her ears gently until she calmed down. Thank you, she said, wiping her tears. Now stop wiping your runny nose with my shirt. You look ugly. You are such a jerk. Yun backed away from him before beating him with cushion, and Jimin laughed. Yoon walked down the aisle with her father. Her heart was beating. Yoon walked down the aisle with her father. Her heart was racing with anxiety, lots of thoughts in her mind. What if Jungkook is not the person she thought he is? What if he is not like her father said he is? She still don't know anything about him. Is it really good choice to marry that early? The wedding hall was beautifully decorated with the white and gold flowers, and the saal was lined with the candles that flickered. She looked around, taking in the sight, and her eyes fell on Jungkook, who stood at the altar waiting for her. Jungkook couldn't help but feel a mix of emotion as he watched Yoon walk down the aisle towards him. From today, his life is going to be different. Now he has the responsibility that he promised to take care of her. On the other hand, he couldn't deny the twinge of guilt he felt, not feeling the love that a wedding day was supposed to be symbolized. Yoon finally reached him and took his hand. He could see the nervousness etched on her face. The ceremony continued. Yoon and Jungkook exchanged vows, promising to take care of each other and love each other the rest of their lives. Do you, Kim Yoon, take Jung Jungkook as your husband? I do. Do you, Jung Jungkook, take Kim Yoon as your wife? I do. Now you can kiss the bride. Jungkook turned to face Yoon, a small smile playing on his lips, which was barely visible. Her hand and pulled her closer to him, looking deep into her eyes. He leaned forward. Yoon felt her heart racing. She closed her eyes and felt his lips brushing against the corner of her mouth. A soft and gentle gesture. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause as they stood straight. Jungkook took her hand again, and together they turned to face their guests, arms intertwined. Yoon felt a sense of relief wash over her as she realized that the ceremony was finally over. Yoon, my kid, she almost rolled her eyes as she recognized the voice. Who could it be other than Park Jimin? He encircled her in a hug. He was actually imitating her parents. They were crying or congratulating her before. But she couldn't deny it. Out of all people, even Jimin annoyed her. He understood her the best. Jungkook was busy talking to others. Don't ruin my makeup, you chipmunk. Jimin grins, finally succeeding to break the chain of her thoughts. He knows when she is feeling down. You know, you have finally got married, so I was thinking that you got married to Professor. Oh, really? Thank you very much for this information. Well, you should be happy now. Whenever you want, he will give you extra classes. That's a good point. You look at him with side eye, clearly understanding his double meaning and where he is going. Jungkook laughed and Yun chuckled a bit. But joke aside, I'm really concerned for you. What is it? What if he gave you an assignment on your first night? Your eyes widen. Oh damn, there are some disadvantages marrying your professor. She didn't think about it. No, he won't do that. Look, he is smiling. This is not a good sign, Yun. He is planning something evil. Jimin said, clearly enjoying her horror expression. Yun looked at him, then her eyes fell on Jungkook. He was really smiling. Suddenly, I want to run away. Oh, my dear cousin, this nightmare will be with you for the rest of your life, Jimin said, making her more scared for her life. Yun gulped and stared at Jungkook. What's going on here? Mom, Jim. Nothing. I was telling her how lucky she is. She got the best husband. You know, Professor Jungkook is one of the best men I have ever seen. He's the best for my cousin. Jimin smiled sweetly at her mother. Yun looked at him with a raised eyebrow, and Mrs. Kim's smile widened as she hugged both of them. Jungkook and Yun finally arrived at their new house, which was a cozy apartment. Yun looked around the house with a bit of nervousness. Relax, this will be our home now. Do you like it? Yes, this is looking cozy and nice. Jungkook smiled a little as he led her to the bedroom, which was simple yet elegant with a king-side bed and large closet. This is our room. Take your time and get comfortable. I will be in the living room. Yun nodded, surprised by how his aura is completely changed by how he behaves in university. She went to the bathroom and took a long shower. She wore comfortable pajamas and went back to the room. Jungkook was on the sofa using his mobile. He got up as he saw Yu coming out of the bathroom. Giving her a small smile, he moved inside. Yun finally sighed, looking around the room. Wow, this is even bigger than my room. She walked towards the bed and sat down, thinking about her life going to change now. She rested her head on the headboard while a million thoughts crossing her mind. She heard door opening sound and opened her eyes, looking in the direction. Jungkook came out wearing pajamas. He looked so stunning while water dropping down his hair. He was smiling widely and Yun smiled too. He came nearer and sat in front of her. You are looking so beautiful, he whispered, and Yun blushed. He put her hand under her chin. I've waited so long for this moment, and now the moment is finally here. I wanted to say, I love you. Yun smiled softly as he held her hand. Jungkook stood up from the bed and Yun looked at him. Oh, I almost forget I have a gift for you. Yun eyes widened in surprise and excitement. Really? What is it? Jungkook bent down and grabbed something. Yun watched in curiosity. Jungkook put a stack of papers in front of her, said in a stern tone, do all this time by 2 p.m., no sleep, and I will give you extra lectures. Yuna's smile fades away and she looked at him in horror. Jimin was right. This is actually a nightmare. Jungkook smiled evilly. Now you have to bear me for your whole life. Yuna opened her eyes and sat straight. Her eyes fell on Jungkook, who was standing there in his night pajamas, blinking, clearly confused by her sudden scream. Are you okay? Did you see a nightmare? You look at him and gulp. Yeah, it was a nightmare. Jungkook poured some water and extended it towards Yun. She took it. Thank you. She gulped down the whole water while her mind was still stuck on that weird dream. Sure, do you need anything? Yun shook her head and Jungkook nodded. He went to the opposite side of bed and sat there. You don't have any problem sharing bed, right? I mean, it's quite wide, but if you are uncomfortable, I can sleep on the couch. No, it's okay. You can sleep here. I have no problem. Alright then, good night. Good night, she replied, settling back into the pillows. As Jungkook turned off the light, Yun couldn't help but think about her strange dreams. She shook her head, trying to clear her mind. Yun woke up. She rubbed her eyes and looked around the room, slowly remembering where she was. She got up and stretched, feeling a little sore from sleeping in a new bed. She can hear a shower in the washroom and walked down to the kitchen, hoping to find some breakfast. As she entered the kitchen, she stared blankly at the glass. Is everything okay? Yun got startled by his voice and looked at him. Yeah, actually, I was thinking about breakfast. Jungkook waited for her to continue. He can sense she is feeling a little hesitant. I don't know how to cook, she said, looking down. Jungkook let out a sigh. Don't worry, I will hire a maid tomorrow, and for today, he looked around and walked towards the stove. I'll make the breakfast. Yuna smiled as she took a seat. Yuna smiled and she took a seat at the kitchen table. She watched him move around the kitchen with ease, pulling out ingredients and utensils. He began cracking eggs into the bowl and whisking them. Don't worry, it's just egg and toast. Thank you. We have to go to university today because today is presentation. What, really? I forget. No, not your class. The other section. Oh, Professor, I have a question. Jungkook sighed and looked at her. Why does he feel like he's still standing in class? Please, call me Jungkook. It feels weird. Yun gulped, suddenly remembered Jimin's words and her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. Jungkook, that's a lot better, he said as he continued making the breakfast. About marriage, I don't want to tell in university that I'm married. Jungkook looked at her a little surprised, even though he wanted to talk about the same thing, but he confused that maybe she will not like it. And why not? He asked, wanting to know her opinion. Is she ashamed that he is older than her? I just don't want people to treat me differently and judge me. Jungkook paused for a moment before turning to her with a soft smile. I understand. Don't worry. No one will know. Thank you. She smiled at him as he served her breakfast. Never in a million years she even thought her physics professor, whom she thinks is a robot, will make her breakfast. Look like marrying him is not that bad idea.